What if Anakin Skywalker was reborn with all of his memories? Let's start the story on the forest moon of Endor. After the Emperor's defeat, the flames of the burning wooden grave danced, casting a warm glow on Luke's face as he stood alone, watching the body of Darth Vader burn. He had redeemed his father, but the cost had been great, his life. Luke closed his eyes, letting the Force flow through him, connecting to the life around him, to the spirits of those who had come before him. And then, a presence, familiar yet unexpected, caused him to open his eyes. Standing beside him, bathed in the fire's glow, was a man Luke barely recognized at first. He was tall with strong features, sandy blonde hair, and piercing blue eyes. The resemblance was unmistakable, yet this was not the scarred visual of Darth Vader. This was Anakin Skywalker, the young Jedi Knight he had once been before his fall to the dark side. Luke calls out to his father Anakin, who responds saying it's true. It really is him. Luke asks how this is possible, and Anakin began, proclaiming that this is the Force's doing, that it's granted him a second chance, a reward for fulfilling his destiny, for bringing balance to the Force. He continues, saying he was lost for so long, but in the end, Luke helped him find his way back, and the Force has given him this life to be with his two children and make amends for the past. Luke felt tears welling up in his eyes, the emotions of the moment almost overwhelming. Luke had completed his mission, redeemed his father, and now had him by his side to guide him through the uncertain future. Anakin puts a hand on Luke's shoulder, his warm touch reassuring. The two stood there in silence for a moment, the bond between father and son stronger than ever. The fire began to slowly die down as they both watched Vader's suit crumble to ash, symbolizing that side of Anakin's personality dying. Luke tells Anakin to come, and they turn towards the forest, where the sounds of celebration echo through the trees. Anakin wanted so badly to meet and introduce himself to Leia, but Luke cautioned against it, that he doubts she will be very reciprocal, and this likely isn't the best time. Anakin nods and understands. Anakin and Luke spend the evening together with Leia and Han, Luke introducing Anakin as an old friend from Tatooine, and Anakin felt extreme joy connecting with his daughter for the first time. Anakin looks behind him, as in the distance, he can see the Force ghosts of Obi-Wan and Yoda smiling at him, giving Anakin their approval. The next day, the rebels all congregate on Coruscant to reclaim the capital of the Empire as their own. Anakin stands next to Luke as they walk through the hallways of the Imperial Palace, aka the former Jedi Temple. Anakin told Luke stories of his time as a Jedi, when almost 10,000 Jedi walked these halls. He takes him to the training rooms, communication center, and ultimately the Jedi High Council chambers, where the strongest Jedi in the Order sat. The Rebel Alliance leadership re-established the Republic Senate, but this was not an easy job. It takes weeks to do, seeding out Imperial loyalists until they can establish democracy back to the Senate. Weeks of this pass, until Luke invites Leia over to his quarters one night, with Anakin present. Luke begins by telling Leia there's something he has to tell her, and comes out saying that Anakin, the man next to him, is really their father. Leia stands there confused. Their father is dead. Darth Vader is dead. And Luke agrees, saying Vader is gone, but Anakin Skywalker, their father, was reborn, the Force granting him a second chance, a chance to make things right. Leia stares at Anakin in disgust, her eyes piercing through him. A second chance, she proclaims, her voice echoing as she states that Vader doesn't deserve a second chance after everything he's done, thinking back to how he destroyed Alderaan and her entire world only years ago. Anakin steps forward, his eyes filled with sorrow and regret, and tells Leia that he knows he doesn't deserve her forgiveness, that he cannot undo the pain he's caused and horrors he's committed as Vader, but he wants to spend whatever time he has making amends, helping rebuild what he's destroyed. But Leia can't believe it, and doesn't think this will make up for the countless lives lost. Luke tells her that it's a lot to take in, but the man in front of them isn't Darth Vader, but their father, the man he was meant to be. Luke pleads for her to give him a chance, but she shakes her head, telling them that she should have him arrested, and Anakin agrees, saying it's what he deserves. After a long silence, Leia tells them that she won't have him arrested, but also will not welcome him back with open arms, that she's lost too much, and doesn't know if she can ever forgive him. Anakin nods and will respect Leia's wishes. She leaves, and Luke reassures Anakin that she'll come around, and Anakin is willing to wait as long as it takes. Meanwhile, the Senate undergo their first democratic vote, with Mon Mothma winning and becoming Chancellor. The New Republic commits to the destruction of the Imperial Remnant, the loyalists who've still clung to power, and will not stop until the Empire's grip on the galaxy is completely destroyed. Ignite your imagination with fantasy sabers. Anakin and Luke venture out through the galaxy with the goal to rediscover the lost knowledge of the Jedi Order. They travel from system to system, visiting ancient temples, libraries, and ruins where the Jedi had once lived. Anakin served as Luke's guide, sharing stories of the Order's past, its triumphs and mistakes. Their journey wasn't completely about the past. The galaxy was still in turmoil, with the Imperial Remnant refusing to surrender. The Remnant had retreated to the Outer Rim, where they regrouped and plotted their moves. Anakin and Luke knew they had to get involved, which caused them to separate at times. Luke went on a solo mission with Lando to the ancient planet Ossus, where the Imperial Remnant had set up a base. Luke traveled to the ancient Jedi library that had once been there, but destroyed a millennia ago, but the remnant of the knowledge still lingered in the ruins. As he explored the ruins, he encountered a group of Imperial soldiers, led by two dark-clad figures, as Luke sensed the dark side radiating from them. They removed their hoods to reveal a woman called Mara Jade, and a male named Joruus C'baoth, a clone of a dead Jedi Master from the Clone War. They proclaimed Luke must die for his crimes against the Emperor and Darth Vader. Luke readied for battle, realizing the severity of the situation. Mara Jade brandished her crimson blade, as Joruus revealed his blue, a face twisted into a mad grin. He proclaimed Skywalker has strayed too far from his path, that like his father before him, it's time to embrace his true destiny. Mara Jade said nothing, her eyes cold and determined, but Luke could feel the conflict within her, buried deep between the layers of hatred and pain. The battle begins in a flash, as the three lightsabers clash. Joruus uses a wild, unpredictable style, and unleashes a torrent of force lightning towards Luke, who barely had time to react, but catches the lightning on his saber. Mara seizes the opportunity, her blade aiming for Luke's legs, who leaped over her strike, and spins his blade to defend another attack from Joruus. Luke could feel the darkness surrounding him. Joruus taunts echoes in his mind, calling him weak, that he cannot protect the ones he loves, and is destined to live the same fate as his father. Luke is disarmed, and stands between the two Darksiders, the shadows of doubt creeping into his mind, and the temptations seep in. For a moment Luke hesitated, his resolve wavering, as the Darkside's pull becomes stronger. He could feel the power it offered, the seductive promise of strength, but then a voice cut through the darkness. His father, Anakin Skywalker. Anakin descended with his blue saber ignited, as he cut down C'baoth in a single strike, and Luke steals his lightsaber to cut Mara's in half. He proclaims the fight is over, and that she will be coming with them. Mara, having fallen to the ground defenseless, glares at Luke with determination. Luke proclaims he can sense the conflict within her, that her heart isn't really in her actions. Mara looks away as Luke tells her the truth. He kneels down next to her and tells her there's still a chance for redemption if she's willing to take it. Mara hesitated, the conflict within her evident, but she grabs Luke's hand, symbolizing that she will join him and forego the dark side. They enter their ship and jump into hyperspace. Anakin praised Luke for his compassion with Mara Jade, and Luke says there's still work to be done, but believes she can be redeemed. Luke and Anakin had many missions with Mara Jade, slowly bringing her back to the light side, and she reveals why she and Joruus were on Ossus, that they were sent by Grand Admiral Thrawn, now the new leader of the Imperial Remnant, and had orders to kill Luke Skywalker, his greatest threat. Anakin couldn't believe it. He thought Thrawn had disappeared. How could he have returned? This is worse than he feared. With Thrawn, the Imperial Remnant may have a chance at victory. Luke tells Leia this information, who relays it to the Senate, and Anakin and Luke commit to destroying the Imperial Remnant and Thrawn. Thrawn had united the scattered Imperial forces and established himself as their leader by demonstrating his strategic superiority and ruthlessness. They were once again a formidable force, and they had to be destroyed. Thrawn's tactics proved effective against the New Republic, launching a series of raids on New Republic worlds, targeting their supply lines, shipyards, and communication hubs. He used psychological warfare, including misinformation campaigns and sabotage, to sow distrust within the New Republic ranks. Luke and Anakin spearhead the New Republic forces, alongside key admirals of the rebellion. They lead their own fleet against the Imperial Remnant, clashing with the enemy many times in space. Mara Jade, who Luke had slowly turned away from the dark side, had become a crucial asset, knowing a lot about the Imperial Remnant inner dealings and structure. Luke and Mara spent a lot of their time together, growing closer, as they both begin developing feelings for each other. Luke and Anakin's fleet is ambushed outside the planet Solist by a portion of the Imperial Remnant, led none other by Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. Luke and Anakin sense the dark side from the Imperial forces, and believe they must have dark Jedi present. But Anakin senses a familiar presence, and is eager to determine who it is. The Imperial forces outnumber the New Republics, and Shin and Baylan board Luke and Anakin's ship directly. Thrawn had sent them once again to deal with Luke, and they rush forward with determination. They break through the bridge and go to ignite their lightsabers, as Baylan stops and commands Shin to do the same. He looks in shock at Anakin Skywalker, alive, and hadn't aged a day since the Clone War. Anakin greets him as Master Baylan, and tells him it's been a long time. Baylan asks him how this is possible, and Anakin tells him the truth about the Force giving him a second chance after he completed his role as the Chosen One. For some time now, Baylan had been sensing a greater power in the Force, and had been seeking it out. Could Anakin Skywalker Reborn be this power? He asks Anakin what his intentions are, and Skywalker tells him to rebuild the Jedi anew, alongside his son Luke, and revert the Order back to its old ways, where they serve the people of the galaxy instead of the Senate. This is exactly what Baylan wanted to hear, and Anakin asks if he and his apprentice will join them, and Baylan accepts, turning his back on Thrawn. He commands the Imperial forces to retreat, and they join Luke, Anakin, and Mara's forces. But Baylan tells them what Thrawn has been doing in secret. He's been searching for the Katana fleet, and Anakin recognizes it instantly. The Katana fleet was a task force of 200 Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers launched by the Galactic Republic during the final decades of the Republic. The fleet, however, was lost on its maiden voyage when a hive virus drove its crew insane, and its captain jumped into hyperspace blindly, and ever since, the fleet has been lost. But Baylan tells Anakin that Thrawn has found the ships and plans to launch them against the New Republic, and this fleet will make him unstoppable. They have to act now, and Baylan reveals Thrawn's entire army, plus the Katana fleet, are a must at Bilbringi. Anakin and Luke realize the severity of the situation. If they don't act fast, the Imperial Remnant will crush them before they can do anything. They take this information back to Leia and Mon Mothma, who approve of a New Republic raid on Bilbringi. They send a huge portion of their fleet, led by key admirals Akbar, Jan Dodonna, and Crix Medine. The entire war depends on this battle. All the Jedi go: Anakin, Luke, Mara, Baylan Skoll, and Shin Hati. The New Republic forces come out of hyperspace and witness the Katana fleet and engage Thrawn's forces, and the Battle of Bilbringi begins. However, Thrawn expected this attack, as he always considered the betrayal of Baylan Skoll and his apprentice, as he lays a complex trap involving cloaked mines and interdictor cruisers to prevent the New Republic from retreating. Like the New Republic, Thrawn hoped for this to be the final battle to ensure his ultimate victory in the war. Anakin stood on the bridge of the Freedom Light, the flagship of the New Republic, alongside his son. The New Republic fleet advances, turbo lasers firing, and starfighters launching in swarms. Ships on both sides exchanged heavy fire as Akbar directed his fleet's movements. However, Anakin could feel something was off. He knows Thrawn from his time as Vader, and knows the master strategist would have something up his sleeve. And he was right. Thrawn had a third of his fleet hidden using cloaking shields, waiting until the New Republic advanced forward enough to attack them with this hidden fleet and wipe them out. Anakin reaches out with the Force, searching for the answers he seeks. He senses the strength of the enemy, but there was something else, something hidden, as his eyes snap open as he realizes the truth. He turns to Luke and Akbar, telling them that he's got ships cloaked, and Thrawn's waiting for them to advance. Luke nodded, trusting his father, and ordered Akbar to direct a series of bombing runs on the suspected coordinates of the hidden fleet. Y-Wings and B-Wings broke off from the main force, driving towards the designated area, supported by proton torpedoes and missiles from the main Star Destroyers. For a tense moment, nothing happened, until the bombs hit. Explosions rippled through space as bombs struck their targets, decloaking Thrawn's hidden fleet in a fiery chain reaction. Thrawn's flagship, the Chimera, shook violently as the destruction spread. His calm demeanor cracked, and his eyes narrowed in frustration, as his meticulously laid out plan had fallen apart. The New Republic forces advance, realizing they've turned the tide of the battle. Anakin and Luke took their chance, alongside Mara Jade, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, they board the Chimera in search for Thrawn. They cut down stormtroopers and security droids with precision. Finally, they reach the command bridge, revealing Thrawn standing at the helm. His posture composed, but his eyes riddled with a hint of fear. He calls out to Anakin, saying only the magic of the Force could have brought him back in this form, that his existence is an abomination and a direct contradiction of the natural order of things. But Anakin tells Thrawn it's over, that if he surrenders, he'll be treated fairly. But Thrawn looks to Luke, Mara Jade, and then back to Anakin, proclaiming that the galaxy is on the brink of chaos, that the New Republic is fragile and unable to control order. But Anakin tells him that he's wrong, that they will rebuild without the tyranny of the Empire. Thrawn reaches for his blaster, but before he could use it, Anakin was upon him, disarming him and forces him to surrender. They capture Thrawn and bring him back to Coruscant as a New Republic prisoner, whilst the rest of the Imperial forces are captured or destroyed. Once again, the defeat of the Empire is celebrated around the galaxy, and there was no hope of their return. The key admirals involved in the Battle of Bilbringi, as well as Luke and Anakin, were given medals of valor for their role in the war. Leia herself put the medal onto Anakin, and he could tell in her eyes that he was slowly winning her over. That night, they have dinner together at Luke's residence. He, Mara, Anakin, Leia, and Han. Leia and Anakin talk as she thanks her father for what he's done for the galaxy, that maybe he really is different from Vader, and he started down the path of righting his wrongs. She tells Anakin she hasn't completely forgave him, but it's a start, and she's willing to try. Anakin thanks Leia for this, and hugs his daughter for the first time. Meanwhile, during dinner, Mara and Luke reveal that they plan to get married and begin a family of their own. Leia and Han follow with good news, that she's pregnant with the twins, also a boy and a girl. Anakin couldn't be more happy, and he tells them all that their mother Padme will be filled with joy watching them begin lives of their own. The conversation switches as Luke and Anakin discuss that now that the war is finally over, it's time to finally rebuild the Jedi Order. They agree that their order will be different from the previous Jedi, that the new Jedi will strive for balance between the light and dark, instead of aiming solely for light, and get rid of the dogmatic views of the old Jedi. They will allow attachments and believe they are their strength. They build their first temple on Coruscant and begin recruiting younglings all over the galaxy. Meanwhile, months down the line, one day Baylan Skoll tells Anakin he feels a greater power calling to him, a power that he believes could end the cycle of conflict and destruction that has plagued the galaxy for a millennia. He believes Anakin has a key role to play in this, but that there's more to it. He senses an ancient power calling to him, the Force on a planet not from their galaxy, that could alter the very fabric of the Force itself. Anakin thinks on this and tells Baylan they will investigate together. I'd just like to quickly shout out my Sabers shop, Fantasy Sabers, where we sell high quality NeoPixel Saber replicas, as well as some insane unique Saber designs, from Nova Flare to King's Guard. Go check them out through the link in the top of the description and find your one-stop shop for all your Saber needs. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out what if Anakin faked his death on Mustafar, and what if the Jedi Council defended the temple during Order 66. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you thought of the video in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.